Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 29th of April 2021. This is The Gap, episode 563. I'm Luke Lawrie. Joab Gilroy is here, and I thought we'd kick things off with some movies this week, Joab. Something different for a change.
Sweet plan. Yeah, got to keep everyone guessing.
Yeah.
Change things up a little bit here and there. Yeah, movies, eh? I'm about it. I watched some movies. I went to the cinemas and stuff, you know. Went and saw Mortal Kombat.
Right.
2021, not the classic whatever year the other one came out.
Like 95 or something, I feel like.
Is it not? Is it? It can't be 95.
You think it's earlier than that?
95. No, later than that.
You think it's later than that?
99 or something. I reckon.
No, it can't be. You think it's later than The Matrix?
98. 98 is my guess.
I didn't even know how to search for it. 95. It was 95.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So ahead of its time.
The problem was the visual effects weren't around. If they would have waited like 3 or 4 more years, would have nailed it.
That is basically it. Yeah. That was the only problem with that film. So yes, saw the new one. I guess it's a reboot, right? And I actually really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But I said this a couple of times now. What is this doing? I've said this a couple of times now. It's not a good movie, but it is a good time. That's
sure. It's fun.
That's my appraisal of it. Yeah, like I wouldn't say it is good, but I enjoyed it.
Right.
Yeah, like immensely. But yeah, like I could see criticism. Like you can see how you would break it apart if you were so inclined to critique it.
I mean,
but I just didn't care.
Sure.
And I feel like as a, you know, self-professed gamer with a capital G, I am probably one of the people who like would be critical of it.
Sure.
Right? I mean, I think film nerds, right, would be definitely critical of it. But yeah, I feel like it was catered towards me and it wound up being what I wanted out of it. Yeah. Right? What did you think?
I think the thing that sort of, when I stepped away and sort of thought about it, was like, that was nearly a 2-hour film and nothing really happens. Like it goes, like it's not a short film. Like it's not an hour and a half, right? Where like
Mr. Nobody.
Like, yeah.
Or Nobody or whatever.
Bang, bang. It's called. And that's got like a plot to it. Whereas this, I feel like, has a plot, but nothing happens. It's just like a bunch of people standing around for most of the time. And there's not like a whole lot of fighting. There's moments in there where it happens, and when it does happen, it's awesome. Like the first fucking 15 minutes of this film are amazing. It's like I'm in. This is rad what they're going for.
Totally different film.
Yeah, that's, and then they jump forward to like present day and introduce a character no one's ever heard of, and you're like, I don't care about this person. What is going on?
What's so weird about that is that like the first 15 minutes, right, do not prepare you for anything that's to come, because it's
tonally completely different,
divorced from like the rest of the Mortal. Like that movie would be rad as fuck.
Would you remember the short internet series that they did a couple of years back? It was very similar to that.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that shit would work, man. That I would be about it. And then they snap forward to the future, and it's like, I don't know, is it commentary? Is present day a lot fucking dumber than it used to be back in fucking ancient Japan?
Yeah.
in Ghost of Tsushima time, because shit, man, it starts off and it's fucking fucking Kurosawa shit, and then it snaps forward and it's, I don't know, fucking a Godzilla film or some
Yeah.
shit.
A
And you're
dude
like,
getting his ass kicked in a UFC cage, and you're like, all right, that's a big.
oh,
This is where we're
right.
going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought it was kind of a bit all over the place there, but yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad film. I still enjoyed it. I had fun with it. Um, the fights, it's very gory. There's lots of nods to the games in there, like some one-liners, um, characters that sort of people like show up, but it's very different to the 1995 Mortal Kombat where they have a set protagonist that you know who that person is. Whereas it's not like the two characters of like Liu Kang between those two movies are completely different. And there's like even characters in there that I think there's some standout favorites like Kung Lao's really good. Kano's awesome.
Kano steals every single scene he's in, and it is literally just because they told him to go as bogan as possible.
Yeah.
And clearly he took that note and he's like, oh yeah, don't worry, I got this. And he went for it. And I think it helps that he's also a actor, and it felt like almost everyone else in the film was a stunt person. And that's not a criticism, but it felt like he was able to, like, I have no idea what went on in the background. And I'm very interested to see some behind the scenes shit. I've been reading interviews and stuff. But they haven't talked about how much of the dialogue is improvised or at least was doctored on set. But like, it felt like he was able to play off other characters better than they were able to play off him. And that, I think, is what made him feel better as a character. Because he was sort of he was the audience, right? He was definitely our audience, because right before we got in, this bunch of fucking yobbos, drunk as shit, wandered into the cinema. And he was exactly their mood until they loved everything he said and did not laugh at any of the other funny bits in that fucking movie. And I thought that was very weird. Like,
they couldn't understand everyone else. That's the problem.
Yeah, probably. I was pissing myself at the fucking flawless victory line. I thought that was so fucking perfect. Because it's like, that is the tone that movie, like, outside of the first 15 minutes, that was the tone of the movie. And it felt like after that, or maybe after maybe after Fatality for Kung Lao or whatever the fuck it was, which was clearly ADR'd, clearly like dubbed in later, and it sounded terrible. Like, it felt like they were trying to go back to the first 15 minutes. Like, the whole time they were trying to claw their way back to what they'd set in the first 15 minutes. And that just was never going to happen. I don't know. Kano was like the audience sitting there going, what the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Oh, what? I'm supposed to have a fucking, what does he say? Like a frisbee hat?
Yeah, he's like, we get some cool. You could end up with a cool power, or you could end up with frisbee hat.
And the sweeping, leg sweep bit, hilarious. Very good stuff, but also, like, I could see where your criticisms might lie. I know people in our movie spoiler chat. Liam's been talking about how he wanted there to be a tournament. I don't really agree. I don't think there needed to be necessarily. The last Mortal Kombat game I played,
the last three have been pretty good stories. Is it X onwards? I think
the X was the last one I played.
Okay.
But like 80% of the 11. I think 11. We're up to 12, right? I played the last one, but I haven't played the latest one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, 80% of the fights didn't take place in the tournament format. Right? They take place outside of it. You're constantly doing fights outside of that format, and then the last couple of fights are in the tournament. So I don't really have a problem with the fights not being within the tournament format. I do understand complaints about whether it being maybe canonically complex, but I don't give a shit about the canon of Mortal Kombat.
I mean, Mortal Kombat seems to have tried to do the hard reboot when they did the one just Mortal Kombat, I think it was, and they did all the time travel stuff and going back in time and just trying to reset that story. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is following. I guess we don't even know yet whether it's following the Mortal Kombat from the original arcade games in the 90s, or if it's following the reboot from the 2000s.
Yeah,
I think it's probably too early, or if it's its own separate thing. I at this stage,
it could be. It felt like they were setting up for sequels. I would watch a sequel provided Kano's back, provided everyone in the film is told, "Hey, be more like Kano."
Yeah, because you look at the other characters like Raiden, and I think he's just a non-factor.
Yeah.
Who else is there? Shang Tsung is nothing.
Yeah.
They were in the original films. They're two fucking badasses, right? And I just felt it was not interesting. Didn't they get the original actors in in the internet short films or internet series that they did to come back? And he was I feel like he was in that as well.
I don't remember. Christopher Lambert.
No, the guy that played the bad guy.
Shang Tsung.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like he was in it. Yeah. Anyway. I just here it just felt like it was nothing. Not even a good villain. It's just very bland.
Yeah, not particularly he just sort of existed. He just showed up sometimes, and yeah, not very good.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I didn't like was the way they cut the fight scenes to be Taken 3 type shit. Just not a fan of the crazy fucking chop 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 fucking Liam Neeson getting 12 shots cuts to get jump over a fucking fence or some shit. I just absolutely no interest in that sort of style of editing. And yeah, I felt like they did way too much of it, especially considering, like I said, everyone, I think, except for Lawson, for Kano, is a stunt person, and he's actually a very accomplished fucking choreographed fighter. So it felt like a huge waste of their talents. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. That I just they got to fix that. That is actually, I would prefer they fix that to making everyone act more like Kano in the sequel. Just have some, because it seemed like they had really good choreography as well. You just could only barely make it out.
A bit where fucking Sub-Zero cuts someone and then they're bleeding and he freezes the blood and stabs them with it. All right,
sick. It seemed like they had some really good fucking ideas for stuff, and then they ruined it with all these fucking snap cuts. It's just absolute waste. They should go for longer cuts.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cool. All right.
Hard recommend. It's available on streaming services.
It's on HBO over here. That's how I watched it.
Or in the cinema.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Something else that I was watching, which I didn't talk about last week, completely forgot, but Dota Dragon's Blood was released on Netflix. And this is a anime TV series based off of the Dota video game created by Valve. Um, it follows a character who's basically Dragon Knight, and it's his sort of like backstory or the backstory of this like clan. And I haven't watched a lot of them. I've watched, I think, 2 episodes at this stage. They're about 30 minutes each, maybe a bit longer.
Right.
Um, it's got some notable characters in the cast, like Yuri Lowenthal is the main uh, main character of it, who is we've talked about a lot on here. He played Peter Parker in the Spider-Man game. He was in
Yep.
Sunset Overdrive. He's done like Prince of Persia. He's done a lot of video game related stuff. It's got Troy Baker in there. A bunch of notable names. I think Troy Baker and Yuri are the two sort of headliners when the credits roll for it. But it's extremely high level stuff. Like it is going for it. Like all this crazy lore stuff that is obviously in the game, but this is like taking a different approach to it. And I kind of, it's not my type of lore. Like it feels like a very like Lord of the Rings sort of elvish, very hardcore fantasy. And I don't know if I'm in for that right now. Maybe I need to watch more of it because
Right.
obviously I think it did well. It got a second season, as far as I'm aware, and that I mean that could be just the like the Netflix thing, right? They usually fucking order a couple of seasons before they're done. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's not for me. I just not into it. It could be because I'm not into anime either. Like the animation and stuff is a little bit like jarring. It's like in half frames or something. Like it's not smooth. It's kind of like jittery, and but it's very like violent, and it's got some like swearing and all that sort of thing in it. So it's definitely like an adult anime. It's not a kids cartoon TV show like a Pokemon type thing. But it just didn't draw me in. It just was way too above my head for something that I just do not like, something that I didn't need. Like I didn't need a backstory set telling me like how this person got to where they were in Dota. Like I don't even know they're gonna get there, but like there's definitely characters that come up that are in the game that you see that interact with each other and that sort of thing. So that's cool. I haven't followed the sort of reception behind it, whether or not people enjoyed it or they didn't like it. But yeah, did you get a chance to check any of it out yet?
I went to watch it. I went to watch the first episode when I was extremely hungover, and it made me want to spew so fucking hard that I had to turn it off inside of fucking 12 seconds.
Right.
It's just got this like a lot of fucking movement in that opening scene. I guess they're chasing down a dragon or something. It was hard to fucking tell.
Yeah.
In between the desire to vomit. So I haven't returned to it, but I actually, yeah, I go in for anime all that often. Although there are a couple I enjoy. I have enjoyed Netflix's animes like Castlevania.
Right. That just got another season, didn't it?
I think so. And this looks a bit like that, so I probably will return to it. It's quite similar in style to that, so yeah, I'll give it a fucking punt. That's why not.
Yeah. I do remember reading something. Some of the criticism was about the pacing of the story. And I do recall reading an interview with the creator saying that like they did get screwed around with the episode, like how many were ordered, and they had to either cut a bunch of time out of each episode or something like that, which kind of screwed around with their pacing. But maybe in the next season they'll get some free reign to do something a bit better. But I just haven't had a chance to. I've been so I haven't been here for 2 weeks and then coming back and I've been busy with other stuff. I just haven't had a chance to sort of sit down and pay more attention to it.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely jump back in when I get some time because they seem like pretty easy episodes to like just knock out as I'm playing something else and just have it on in sort of like the background.
I wouldn't say we're spoiled for choice, but there is like some good stuff out there at the moment if you're looking. So
I'm currently watching Invincible,
fucking awesome.
which is, I think it's releasing weekly at this stage on Amazon.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
And that is a comic book brought to TV basically. The freaking like I've read a bunch of these and like the actual art is dead set like the art from the comic book.
Yeah, right.
Looks incredible the way they've done this, and like the cast of this TV, like this is another like animated TV series, but designed for adults with swearing and extreme violence, and the cast is like bonkers, man. There's so many people. Like Stephen Ewan is the main character. There's like J.K. Simmons in there. Walter Goggins is
Walton
there,
Goggins.
right? Walton Goggins,
Zachary Quinto, Gillian Jacobs,
Seth Rogen,
Sandra Oh is the mum, Jason Mantzoukas has a lot of. I love him. Who else? Yeah, like just a fucking killer fucking cast. That's right.
Yeah. And it's very like the first episode is I would watch, if you're not sure about it, I would watch the first two. The first episode is very much, it's basically a story about like what if Superman had a kid, and then what would happen to that kid. And it's about this kid discovering that like he has powers and how to deal with it and all that sort of stuff. And it's very like a traditional Superman story up until the last like 2 minutes of that first episode, and then it completely shows its hand and tells you the direction it's going for. So I would at least watch the first, like if that doesn't grab you that first episode, I would watch the second one, because that's when it starts to really show you like this is what we're doing. Because that first episode is not, it's sort of like a twist, a Shyamalan twist.
Yeah, it is
it's very good.
Zwaya with it.
I mean, yeah, it's a similar story to it's a good way to sort of tell the Superman story. I'm watching what's it called? Superman and Lois, or Lois and Superman. I can't even remember the order of that at the moment. And that is doing a very similar thing of what if Superman, like let's not focus on Superman necessarily, let's focus on his family and what happens if Superman had kids. And that's kind of what that series is about. It's him moving back to Smallville with his family, and he's an older Superman, and he's got like 2 teenage twin sons, and dealing with them and what would happen if they got powers. So I'm a couple episodes in that. They're on hiatus at the moment, but I think that sort of stuff is more interesting than telling like what happens if there's Superman and he can't be defeated, and the things around it. So I don't know, man. Invincible is really good. If you haven't checked it out, have a look.
I like on Amazon Prime that when you pause it, it'll tell you who's in a scene.
Yeah,
but it also tell you the music, because it's got really good music as well. I'm a fan of the soundtrack. Anyway, good stuff. Cool. Nice.
Anything else to add?
No.
No.
There's something else. I finished Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I liked it. I didn't think it was great, but I liked it in the end.
Yeah, the last 2 episodes are really good.
Yeah,
it's a very different pace. Like it's not the WandaVision like mystery of the week type thing this was very much like a Captain America like thriller spy sort of bit slower paced with a dumb budget for a TV show though. Like there's some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was all right. It was fun.
Yep.
All right, let's go to the game section.
The games. Hey, I'm gonna jump in before you go.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go with NHL and MLB 21 because I was playing that with JB,
Right.
Johnny Bravo, and I figure I better get this out of the way because he is the one who told me to watch Invincible, and he will be, I assume, very upset if I don't clarify that. So it's not like we didn't come upon it. Well, I didn't come upon it.
Oh, really? I should have told you guys. I've been watching it for weeks, for a month now or something.
He told me a couple of weeks ago. I
Yeah.
can't remember when.
When the first 3 episodes dropped, I started watching it.
Right. Yeah, I think I was a little bit later after that. But that was a better way to watch it, I reckon, because fucking now I gotta wait fucking another day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before I get to watch the next one. It's horseshit. Anyway, he and I, me and him, me and JB played some NHL 21 and some MLB 21. MLB The Show 21 together on Xbox. It's been fucking yonks since I played a console game online, eh? Like, ages.
You had to buy that gold?
Fortunately, Game Pass, Plus One Game Pass, comes with gold. So, yeah. Yeah, it was initially pretty annoying to work out. I'd say, like, fuck it. So MLB The Show is the baseball game that is available on Game Pass as of this month. NHL 21 came to Game Pass via EA Play, but is also available on Xbox. I was playing on the Series X, and JB is playing on a One X, I believe. But that worked flawlessly. It was actually easy as. Getting to play a game of MLB The Show against another person, what a clusterfuck. First of all, like, I've played a bit of MLB The Show by now, because I knew I was going to wind up playing multiplayer, and I didn't want to look like a complete fucking buffoon. But even still, I don't understand. Like, the fucking front page of MLB The Show is just this list of fucking things that don't mean anything. It's like Road to the Show, Diamond Dynasty or something, and you're like, what the fuck does I just want to play a fucking game of baseball? How do I do that? And you have to go down from that menu down to like quick play. That is not how you play against another person. To play against another person, you have to go up to your profile in the top left of the main screen, and then click, and then go to like RB, and then you press friends, and then you invite them to play a quick an exhibition match or something. Like, invite them to play a game. That's how. Like, what the fuck? Do they just not want people to play against other people online? Is that the deal? Like, are they just making like, who set that shit up? Who designed this fucking UI? Like, obviously baseball fans, right? Only baseball fans and sit there going like, oh yeah, yeah, he's doing really well. He's got 18 RBIs and his HR is 0.3, and you're sitting there like, did he hit the ball? I don't fucking know. Like, they just talk in this endless series of fucking acronyms and initialisms, and all of them are based on like hundreds of percentages, and you got fucking no clue. So of course, they would look at the front this main screen and be like, oh, perfectly logical. If I would like to go play a game against a friend, all I need to do is press up, RB, down, A, down, A. You
got to type in the Konami code.
And he's invited. yeah, exactly. And you're like, motherfucker, what is going on here? Anyway, we played a game, 9-inning game. JB's got rules. for playing multiplayer sports games. You got to play as the same team so that nobody can claim that their team was better or worse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that. We never played by those rules in my household. You were allowed to play as whoever you wanted, and if your team was worse, then you should pick a better fucking team, and you still cop that L. There's no fucking excuse making when I was growing up.
What's the rules on bunting? Does he have one? No bunting?
No. There was no throwing balls. You're not allowed to throw balls. Only
balls.
strikes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Right.
So only over the plate.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't devolve into some like weird fucking. Oh yeah, I outgamed you by, because, like I was saying last week, I swing at everything. I still swing at everything. Every single fucking ball I swing at, even though it seems like pitching in this game is pretty fucking hard. Like, JB's a massive baseball dog, and he was throwing lots of balls, and like he'd immediately apologize afterwards, and I'd like fucking swing at it. Yeah, just no. It's because it's really, really difficult to work out where the fuck, like, as your pitcher's energy.
He's throwing it just outside your reach so that you're swinging, but you're not hitting anything.
Fucking got him. This motherfucker doesn't understand baseball, and I fucking boomed him. No, he was actually extremely helpful in explaining what the fuck most of the things were going on, but he couldn't explain the pitching. It seems like once your pitcher's energy drops below 50%, it doesn't matter where you aim the pitch. It's just going to go wherever. It's just going to fucking go somewhere. Yeah. Like, it's not up to you anymore. It's sort of just, yeah. I get that you want me to throw it there, but I'm fucking tired, mate. So I'm going to just I'm going to try and get it to the catcher, and we'll see what happens from there. It's basically that's how I would pitch. It's weird that we're playing a professional sports game. Holy fuck. We're playing on this Red Sox, and one of the dudes on that team, one of the guys who, like, one of the batters, has a running speed of 17 out of 100. Like, I expected him to be in a fucking wheelchair. Yeah. Like,
is he MLB, like an NFL player, like a linebacker?
He did. He's a big fella, but
not a linebacker, like a defensive stop or something.
Yeah, like a fucking linesman. Yeah. Like the fucking. I expected him to be in a wheelchair. I
don't even run. I'm higher than a 17. I can tell you that.
Right? Like, that's what I'm thinking. But they must be, like, MLB The Show must be the only fucking game in existence that has the gap style review system where they use all 100 points of the fucking.
Maybe it was a mistake. It was supposed to be a 71. And somebody.
Yeah, EA games are doing the fucking IGN GameSpot thing where they never go below 70. Like, everyone is 70 or above. So you'd be like, oh yeah, he's a 71 at running. No, not in MLB The Show. They're like, he's fucking shit at running. Like,
he's bad. He's the worst.
He's not just slow. He looks dumb when he's running as well. So I'm going to give him a fucking 17. This motherfucker. Like, that's some shit, man. 17 at running. Like, I don't run, and I can outrun 17. What the fuck? He's a professional athlete, motherfucker. And what do you have to? How much would he get paid? How much would he get paid? Fuck me. I could do that. Shit. I don't understand baseball on any fucking level, and I could do that. I could run faster than 17 if that's all you needed. Like, just pay me $100,000 a year to live in Boston, and then apparently you can pinch runner. You can swap him so he hits and gets on base, and I can do the rest of the running for him. Right? Like,
yeah, you can be the runner.
Yeah, I
Done.
just fucking run. Like, you don't even need me to hit, right? I think I could catch with a
You could
giant
learn
glove
to
on my
hit
hands.
on the $100,000 a year though, because
On
you've got a running
$100,000
down.
a year, right? Yeah. What am I gonna do? Fuck me. Ridiculous. I was fucking flabbergasted. Anyway, so we played some baseball. I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but I fucking walloped JP. And he was trying. He was putting effort in, and I fucking destroyed him. Okay, it came down, bases loaded, I fucking socked it out of the park. One of my only two home runs. It did help significantly that something about balking. If you throw the ball before the umpire has like crouched down on his haunches, that's a balk, and everyone gets to like advance a base. That helped significantly. Because we had no idea how that worked. But yeah. Anyway, good times. And then we played NHL. We played 3 games of that. We're playing NHL because the MLB The Show servers were down, which was a bit weird timing. But yeah, NHL, like that actually, I think we were trying to work it out. I'm pretty sure MLB was putting us on US servers. And meanwhile, NHL, outside of, I think I had like 2 hiccups, like tiny little glitches, like spikes. We had really good fucking connection on NHL. So I don't know if it was peer to peer or if they've just got Aussie servers. I know EA has Aussie servers for FIFA, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're just doing it on Azure. And obviously there's Sydney servers for that. But yeah, I felt like we had a really good connection. They've even got like a network connection tool so you can measure your connection in it, which I hadn't seen in a fucking console game before, and I think that's fucking awesome. JB won the NHL, so that was disappointing. The problem, right? The reason he won is because he plays this fucking figure skating style of hockey that I've just got no time for. Each of our games, I outscored him on hits by 20 hits each game. 20 hits. Like I was just fucking. That's my style of hockey. Is like you line them up and you just fucking cane them. You absolutely fuck it. Like it doesn't matter if they've passed the puck, right? They get the pass off, and someone's on the fucking the what do they call it? I don't know, breakaway, I suppose. Someone's on the breakaway. Nah, you finish that fucking check. You finish your fucking hits every single time. And the idea is you want to like just fucking waste them. And the flip side, right? I was checking all over the place, body checks all over the fucking place. They were hideous, absolutely disgusting shit. But JB won 7 of our 8 fights. I don't know why. I think it was lag. I'm pretty sure it was lag. Must have been lag. Got to be lag. But that was the other thing. When he would win those fights, it would undo all because the reason you do checks is because it like saps stamina,
Right?
like way faster, super fast. You had to actually skill into the ability to not lose stamina on a check. And so when you win a fight, your team, all of their lines get full stamina. They're like fucking G'd up. They're running on pure adrenaline. And when they would undo all the good work I'd done on the checks. But basically, my entire strategy is to just fucking wallop cunts and maybe score some goals. And yeah, unfortunately, JB's strategy is to score some goals and maybe wallop cunts. And those clearly his strategy was better than mine at the end of the day. He only won by 1 goal. And I think if we went on for and against difference, I would have won goals for and against. I think I won, but we were playing the winner takes all decider match. So tis what it is. GG's. It was good fun though. Yeah, I actually think I haven't played sports games against someone else in fucking forever, and I actually really miss it. Yeah, definitely up for playing more.
Yeah, that's because you rage quit, because I used to beat you at NBA all the time, and so you'd be like, "I don't want to play more."
First of all, NBL?
NBA.
Did you said NBL?
Pretty sure I said NBA.
You said NBL. We're just playing as the fucking Brisbane Bullets versus the fucking something Tigers. I don't know who. Townsville Tigers?
Tasmania.
Tasmanian? No, I don't think so. I don't think Tasmania has a team. Why would they? Nobody in Tasmania can jump. Nobody in Tasmania plays basketball. Yeah. First of all, you said NBL, and second of all, I used to belt you. You insisted on going the Lakers when the Lakers were spent 7 years tanking.
Yeah,
so
I'd still beat you.
You did fucking not. I insisted on going whichever team had LeBron, and then I'd pass the ball to LeBron. And it would fucking work every fucking time. And you got super salty about that strategy, even though it's the same fucking strategy that your fucking dubs use. Pass the ball to Steph Curry and he'll shoot it from literally anywhere and he'll get it in. I see you've gone full Dubs Nation, by the way, which is just vaulting. How could you? How you hate LeBron that much? It's just shameful.
I support two teams, my home team and my other home team.
Fucking classic. Anyway, other games.
Hey, speaking about NHL, have you been watching the Mighty Ducks on Disney?
Absolutely not. Oh. It looks awful. It looks so bad. Oh my god, I cannot do it. Yeah. Why? Why would they go back to that well?
Money. Lots of money,
I suppose. Yeah. No, I'm not criticizing Emilio.
Yeah.
I'm just come on.
They looked at Karate Kid and were like, what do we got? What can we do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's do that, but with Mighty Ducks.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about some more games here. We've got Portal Reloaded, which you talked about last week. Have you had a chance to play much more of it?
I have not. I have not been playing it more.
I jumped in.
All right, so all right. Well, that was quick. Fair enough.
Yeah. For a little bit. I didn't play a whole lot, maybe like 40 minutes or so. Basically, it is a mod for Portal 2 that uses the normal portal gun. So your orange and blue portals to step through them. And it introduces a new green portal, which affects time. When you step through the green portal, you end up going either forward. I guess you go forward in the future to 20 years, and you're able to then go between the two time periods and manipulate portals and solve puzzles and all that sort of jazz. It's a free mod, but you need to own the Portal 2 game to be able to play it. It looks like it's got some like voice acting sort of things going on there, and it's basically a series of test chambers you go through and try and complete. I think that this kind of highlights the how well Portal or Valve has done these Portal games, because I think that or even other games that have puzzle elements, I know that this is a free mod, but also it just shows you how much time that those games put into developing those puzzles and making them very easy or easy to understand, very easy to sort of learn and gradually get harder and harder as you go. And I think this is something you talked about last week. Is like it's not an easy puzzle game, and I think that is a problem with it. That it something that I faced with it. Like I think it just doesn't maybe do a good job of explaining the mechanics of how all these different time interactions work with the cubes, and because it's something weird, like you can take a cube from the present and move it to the future, but if you move it in one world, it'll show up in the other world. Like if you're moving it in the present, it'll show up in the future in the same spot, but you can also take it with you to the future, but you can't take stuff from the future back. And then there's like weird mechanics where you can then create two instances of the cube and bring them across the same, uh, I guess, dimension or whatever time you're in. But if you interact with one, the other one disappears. And I think it just does a really clunky job, like explaining those mechanics and how they work. Like it goes way too quickly in terms of like introducing you to that mechanic and then like just going like, all right, now here's a fucking giant room, try and figure this out. And it just being like, wait, what am I supposed to do? I like literally just learned this thing and I don't understand what's going on, like what's happening. um so yeah, it's just not like a slow gradual incline of here's a puzzle and here's how you kind of solve it. It just kind of gives you a mechanic and then throws you in the deep end, and you're like, oh, I sort of really don't understand how this works. And so it then becomes a not necessarily trying to solve a puzzle, more of just like brute forcing your way through it because you're trying to figure out uh, the conditions of how this stuff works and what doesn't work. And so I think yeah, that's got some work to be done. I feel like there's just too much of an incline in terms of difficulty, or like the not telling you exactly how things work and just sort of hurrying you along to the next thing and then introducing another mechanic and being like, all right, well, this is how this works now with this other thing. So yeah, I just found that was just like, it was just going way too quick for me to sort of get a grasp of what was happening. And then I'd go and look at a guide and be like, that's yeah. Like eventually I'd be like, all right, I get there like at some stage, but the way you've explained it or the way that you've like shown me how I should do something just doesn't like I did not get that from what you just showed me. So yeah, it just seems like it's got that like it's got a really cool idea in terms of the time mechanics and how that's sort of how that affects the world, but the way they teach the player and they sort of introduce you to the mechanics of how the rule sets work and how it affects the world. I think it's just implemented poorly. So, yeah.
It's funny because last week you were saying that you didn't like how much Portal 2 held your hand.
Yeah.
And now this one doesn't hold your hand enough.
No, I think that Portal 2 was always like showing you exactly what you needed to do, whereas this game is not. It's not even showing you the basics of how things work. It's sort of just telling you, and then you've got to try and figure it out. Like there's an instance in one of the tutorials where it's like you do something, it doesn't tell you how to do it, and you do it, and the voiceover tells you like, oh, you figured it out, like congratulations. And I felt like that was each test chamber was just me trying to brute force my way through how the mechanics of each of these things work. And like just me not knowing whether or not this would work or not. Like that's not fun to me.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Like, yeah, I guess I get it. Because obviously I haven't gone back either, so I don't find it particularly fun either. But my problem with it is that I think I understand it. Like based on your description earlier, it seems like there might be some elements you still haven't got a full hold on. My problem is that even once you do understand it, it's
just clunky.
fucking dense. Well, there are so many moving parts that you literally need to stand there and like map out what you're going to do before you even do it.
Try it. Yeah.
And then once you like, it's almost like a turn-based game, or like a tactical game, where like you'd be like, okay, and then you move here, and then place a portal here, and then place another one there. You put your third one there, and then you go through the third one, and then you grab the cube and bring it back. You put the cube there, and then you move the first portal here, and then bang. And then, like, when you go bang, everything happens all at once. And then you've reached the end of the fucking chamber, and you're like, all right. And so you're demonstrating, I guess, mastery over the concept, but there's no feeling of like success because it's over so fucking quickly. It just happens like that. You're like, okay.
Whereas in Portal, you're shooting the portals, right? And you're like failing and failing and failing, and then you're getting better and better and better. Whereas this, you're kind of just like flailing around, and eventually it just kind of works. You're like, oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's definitely an element of like, I have clearly missed something. And I don't know what it is until you work out what it is. Like, I definitely agree the tutorialization is for shit. But I think you would really like it if you powered through and learned the language.
I think I got to like test chamber 8. I don't know how many there is.
25?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it would be your sort of game. But you have to learn the language of the puzzles, and it does a shit job of teaching the language of the puzzles. And they only it'd be like learning fucking Norwegian, because you know most of the Arabic alphabet, or the English alphabet, and being like, oh well, I know the English alphabet, so I can learn Norwegian.
Sure.
And then just plonking you in Norway, somewhere, and then you just fucking have to learn it. And you're like, hang on. I've never seen that fucking letter before. That's not from the fucking alphabet. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, I think I could get there. And you sort of slowly, like, every time you go to a new fucking place, someone voiceover will be like, Hergity burgity burgity. Obviously, these letters mean this.
Right, yeah.
Try and get through this fucking door. The instructions are written on the wall. And then you're like, but hang on. I didn't catch any of that. But then once you learn the language, you're just like fucking doing whatever you want in Norway. And it's, it seems like it could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's just that at the same time, I don't know, it's very fucking complex.
Yeah. I just, that's what I think. It just doesn't slowly, gradually introduce these mechanics. It kind of just throws you in the deep end, and like, it's like, we're running now. Let's go. And so you end up just like trying to figure out how the mechanics work with each other. The interactions of when you pick up a cube and you take it through the time portal, like how that affects the world, and what happens when you create another cube and then pick that one up. Like, can you move it, or like which one is from the future and which one is from the past? And like, if I touch one of them, the other one fades away, but only after a certain amount of time. And it's just like weird interactions that I just couldn't like. I was like, I felt like I've missed something. Because like I'd look up the tutorial or like a guide, and it was like, I don't think it explained any of this. It kind of just went from one thing to another. So anyway, maybe I just need to spend more time with it, but it just wasn't grabbing me as much as I'd hoped. Anyway, Yeah, you can check that out. Portal Reloaded is free on Steam if you've got Portal 2. Let's get moving on here. I've been playing a little bit of a Days Gone on PlayStation 5. They released a PlayStation 5 upgrade like the end of last year, and I never got around checking that out. And I remember, was it Nate that played through Days Gone and really enjoyed it? Someone, I feel like it was Nate that played a bunch of it.
Someone did.
Do you think it was Nate?
Maybe, I don't know.
So it's the only person I can think of that we talked to a lot. I played a bunch of it when it first came out and enjoyed aspects of it, but otherwise pretty forgettable.
Didn't like it.
This PlayStation 5 upgrade adds in dynamic 4K resolution and 60 frames per second, which I think helps quite a lot in a game where you have to do a lot of shooting. And there's a lot of things going on the screen. So from what I've played quite a significant amount of hours on it. It runs really well. Doesn't have any hiccups. I think it looks like a really nice game. There's like interesting things going on with that combat and like the hordes of zombies and when they're sort of running at you and there's just dozens and dozens and dozens of them on the screen, all just trying to chase you down and you trying to leave traps and run through obstacles and setting up explosives. Like that sort of stuff is really cool and fun. Exploring the world is kind of cool. Like just driving around and finding weird spots in the map where, going through houses and collecting scrap and, as a survival game, a lot of that stuff is really interesting. But I think that the game itself is, maybe they've tried to do too much with it, or like they've tried to make it too big, because there's some cool mechanics in there, but it's very repetitive in terms of what you're doing. So I think it's like it was definitely a good sort of baseline of a game, like an open world game. It's I think Ben's first open world game that they've made. So I think that like what they built as a foundation was interesting. It wasn't anything that blew people away, but there's definitely something that they could have turned this into for a sequel, like filled out more of the things to do. That was kind of the thing that like I'm running around and being like it's quite repetitive. There's the camps that you go through and clear them out, but it's like it's just a different area. There's not really much else going for it. There's different factions and that sort of thing, but for the most part, you go from point A to point B, killing a bunch of things, and then if you're not killing a bunch of zombies, you're killing a bunch of drifters or other humans that are sort of scavenging around, and that's pretty much all there is at this stage. There's like clearing out the Nero camps where you go in there, you restore power. You've got to like cut the megaphones that are attached to the buildings as speakers, otherwise they attract zombies. Like I think there's some cool mechanics in there, but it's just too repetitive. There's too much of the same thing happening every like mission to mission to mission. It's a lot of fun walking around, like stealthing an area, crawling through a window, grabbing supplies, like stealthily killing zombies and then getting bounties from them and then taking those bounties and going back to your main base and trading them in for rep or money, and then getting that money and upgrading, getting new weapons or upgrading your bike. And like there's a nice little loop there. It's just like there's too much of it that's repetitive. So it's kind of disappointing that they've maybe canceled, or at least something's gone on with the sequel, because like Assassin's Creed, when that first came out, that wasn't the game that people remember. Like these games sometimes need a second chance, or like they're not going to be the most amazing experience ever. And I guess props
it's like TV shows with like season 1, right?
Yeah.
You need
trying to find their footing.
Parks and Rec, don't watch season 1.
Yeah.
The Office, don't watch season 1. Like loads of fucking shows, you just don't watch season 1 anymore, right? But the rest of them, Always Sunny. I think there's like you watch one episode of season 1. Like yeah, you just skip straight past, but the rest of that series is all time fucking hilarious. And it's a shame that I wonder how many video games could have been all time greats if they'd just gotten a second one. But if the first isn't an all time great, so often they don't get that opportunity.
Right.
Yeah. On the flip side, making one season of a TV show compared to one season of a video game is often apples and oranges. So
yeah. One of them is 7 years of development, 5 to 7 years of development. So yeah. Anyway, I think it would be cool if they did make a sequel and like tightened up a bunch of those mechanics and just sort of flesh things out a bit more, because there's definitely some interesting things there. But at the same time, like that character as well is just so uninteresting and boring and bland. But like exploring, like I like games where you're out there and you're surviving and you have to explore and you're going through rundown buildings and clearing out nests and that sort of stuff is really cool. It's just there's not a lot of variety. So yeah. Anyway, that's Days Gone. PlayStation 5 patch is out. Check it out. There's not a lot going on right now.
It's the free game on PS4 Plus or PS Plus for PS4. So if you have a PlayStation 5, you can get it and the upgraded stuff. Yeah.
It's not a terrible game. Like it's fine. It's got some cool things going. It just didn't. It ain't a 9 or 10, or an 8, which is what most games need to be these days. Otherwise, people just do not care. All right, let's keep moving on here. What do you got? Some mobile games.
So Slay the Spire I've been playing again because my brother-in-law hit me up. He hit me up and he's like, hey, because I go like my little sister and her family came down to Sydney to visit, and my brother-in-law was like, oh yeah, what should I play on my phone? I need something to play on my phone. I'm like, oh yeah, well, it's this game called Idol Slayer. and he had a look and he was like, oh no, I don't really like these incremental games. I'm like, oh, I know what you can play. Fucking Slay the Spire, mate. $10. $10. It's the fucking tits. Anyway, he's been playing since then, which was around Easter. And he hit me up the other day. He's like, oh yeah, I can't win. I can't unlock the 4th character. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. I'm like, all right, well, who are you playing as? And he's playing as the Defect, which is obviously the best character. And I'm like, it's very difficult to tell someone what they're doing wrong in Slay the Spire. Like, it's very difficult to analyze and determine how someone is fucking up their game and not winning without actively watching them fuck it up and not win. So I had to go through all the sort of the things, the ways that I fucked up and wasn't winning when I originally played. And so I started playing again so I could get familiar with the ways you might fuck up a run of the Defect. And I've been fucking struggling. I'm just having a fucking rough time trying to fucking beat this when is this motherfucker again? I just don't know what it is. I can't quite put my finger on why I'm having such a fucking struggle. I've had some fucking killer runs, and then I just get undone. And like when I think about what it is that fucked me up, I'm like, I don't know. I think I guess I took a bit off more than I could chew, and allow myself to get damaged too much earlier, and that is about all I can fucking determine. But I get to the 3rd fucking floor, and I'll run into an elite. And it used to, like, usually my, like, some people have a philosophy of, fight every elite on the first floor and then avoid them. My philosophy is fight every elite. Every single fucking time. Fight every elite. Because every fucking relic you get is another fucking step towards victory. There are only like 3 bad relics, so you can't really go wrong, provided you can win your fucking fights. The other thing is, if you're not able to beat an elite on the 3rd floor without taking so much damage that it renders you useless, you're not going to beat the fucking 3rd floor boss anyway. So, it's one of those things. It's basically a perma skill check. But if you can beat the first elite, you can beat every other fucking elite on that floor. So you may as well fight every fucking elite every fucking time. But I get to these fucking 3rd floor elites and I'm just fucking I'm done. Nothing seems to work, and I'm just fucking at a loss. I think I'm wasting my potions, or I'm not taking the right potions, or something. But I just can't work it out. It's confounding. But it does have me playing Slay the Spire a fucking ton again, because I just want to fucking sort this out. I want to fucking win. Obviously, you're not going to win every game either. That's the other thing. I'm playing at Ascension 2, and so I've got more elites, and I can't remember, maybe more curses. I can't remember this Ascension 2 thing. I bumped it down. I didn't want to play flat because it's too boring, but I bumped it down. And I'm trying not to take, like, you get more elites on Ascension 2, on Ascension 1, and whatever the Ascension 2 thing is. You get more elites, but you don't have to take every elite fight. So I'm still only taking 2 elite fights per level, per floor, to try to replicate it. I'm just trying to, keep things interesting. I just can't fucking work out why I'm losing. Anyway, there's a whole fucking array of reasons why you might not be fucking winning Slay the Spire. And there is RNG. There's always RNG. Like, you can always just not get anything that works. It flat out happens. I cannot be convinced that someone can win every game of Slay the Spire. I will not be convinced. I'm gonna have to go look at YouTube videos of some cunt with a fucking 50 win streak or something after the podcast. It's gonna be what I watch during lunch. Some dude just winning with the worst fucking cards.
Jump on Twitch.
Yeah. But yeah, I love that game. Holy shit, it's such a good game. It's fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah, and I've also been playing
Diablo.
Which one is it? Diablo or Diablo?
Take your pick.
No, they were saying it a specific way at BattleNet, and that was the correct way. Diablo, I think.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Diablo. I was playing Diablo Immortal.
Half that blow.
Hearthstone. Earth Diablo. Anyway, playing Diablo Immortal, and because I managed to get into the early, or the second wave, I suppose. I am not enjoying it at all. It feels really fucking linear. When I was playing last night, so I've gotten through the prologue, and I'm onto the first act now. And when I finished the prologue, the prologue,
Hearthlog.
The Hearthlog, yeah. When I finished it, it had I could auto run to the next fucking location. And I was already feeling like this game is too fucking on rails, but that was it, man. I'm like, holy shit. So I don't even need a fucking run now. I just press a button and I run.
Yeah. Pretty soon you get unlocks. It just attacks every 1 second and you can upgrade them. And then all of a sudden it's a clicker game.
Then you're fucking earning gold per second. You don't even worry about any of that shit. You just fucking, you're focused on building a machine that turns loot into gold as fast as humanly possible. and then somehow you're getting souls, and etc. etc. Yeah, like I kind of see it. It's got good Diablo vibes, and it's got the theming that I enjoy out of Diablo, and but like the loot system seems really clunky. I hate to do this, but I've never seen a game that would benefit from Outriders auto loot system more than fucking this shit. The fucking tedium of walking around and tapping on fucking stuff you want to pick up. How the fuck is that this? But you've also got the option, you can tap on it to pick it up, or you can tap on the hand to grab it. It's like the interact button. Why wouldn't interact button just pick up everything on the fucking screen? Holy shit. Yeah, I cannot believe they need auto loot from Outriders. It's the one good thing Outriders has given to the world is auto loot. The only good thing to come from that game. And Diablo Immortal desperately needs it, but at the same time, that would remove even more of the fucking interaction from the fucking game. You just fucking need auto run places, auto loot. Like it literally would turn into a fucking clicker game. Like they could turn it into a fucking. Why not? Just make Diablo clicker. Just fucking do it, right? Like it'd be more interesting than this fucking hyper linear on rails fucking holding. You don't tap a button, you hold down the fucking attack button and occasionally switch to your other fucking attacks, and that's about it. I never once felt like I was in danger of dying. I didn't feel like any of the enemies were particularly interesting. I'm playing on the fucking Galaxy S21 basic. So I can't really make out what the fuck is going on anyway, even though it is at a resolution that's about 80 times larger than Diablo 1 was. Like, it's just not about it, man. Like, I just don't get it. I don't see the points to it. Like, you can't even, you've got like these branching paths, but they're all blocked off. There's invisible walls all over the fucking place. Like, I just, yikes, man. It feels a lot like fucking Torchlight, actually. Torchlight 2 or 3 or whichever one it was that was on Game Pass that I played for an hour and fucking hated. Yeah, like it reminds me a lot of that, and as a result, I'm fucking hating this as well. Yeah. Anyway, not a fan. Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, fair enough. Are those like invisible wars? Is it because they've because in an alpha they're blocking sections off, or is it purely just like this is the end of the map? You just can't.
You can't. I think you're not on this mission, so you can't go here at this point.
Right.
Is what I think is happening, as far as I can tell. Maybe it's just because I am not deep. Maybe Act 1 opens it up immensely. I'll give it a try. I only got to play it yesterday, so I'll give it a bit more of a try in Act 1 and see if it opens up, and I'll report back. But fuck me, man. Like, yeah. Jeez.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Call of Duty Warzone. The Season 3 kicked off last week. We were talking about some of the events that were doing. It was like happening as we were recording. They basically split it up into like 4 events. The first day was Verdansk being overrun by zombies and then eventually getting nuked. And then the second day was a new game mode on Rebirth Island where you were the one initiating the nuclear launch on Verdansk, which was basically like an end of game hot potato type situation where you had to get the briefcase and hold on the briefcase for a certain amount of time, and then when you did that you can call in the nuke.
Right.
And anyway, they had this limited time event, and then what happens once that game actually finished, the new map kicked in, and it took you back in time to the 80s, and it is now a brand new version of Verdansk set in the 80s, mid 80s, 1984, where they have redone a bunch of the locations. There's new buildings, new loot in the game, all that sort of stuff. And that's now running and up. It's now up and running now. I've had a chance to play a little bit, not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Have you played much at all?
Yeah, I played a couple of games. I was playing Verdansk Resurgence, because why not?
Yeah.
Why would I play any other mode other than Resurgence? I love it. Yeah, I played it a little bit. My first impressions were fucking awful, but it must have been doing some caching thing or something. Like, apart from the fact that it took me literally a full day to download it because it kept getting to 99% and then checking the files, and then it was on some sort of fucking weird checking files loop fucking 24 hours until I had to delete some cached files and start it up again. So that was bad. And then I got in and like my frames, I was getting like fucking 60 frames or some shit, which shouldn't have been happening. I'd also turned on NVIDIA DLSS, but I must have been doing something caching, or maybe when I deleted those files, it deleted some caching or some shit, or I don't know. But now it's, yeah, DLSS is fucking amazing in it. So congrats to the 3 people who have a car that's capable of running DLSS. Getting like fucking 180 frames. It's fucking beautiful. I'm a big fan of that. At 1440p as well, no less. Yeah, that fucking slaps. I think it's visually more interesting than old Verdansk, more colorful, like better color palettes. Can look a little washed out sometimes. I don't know, like there are some areas that are just a bit too brown, like fucking new stadium. It's a lot of brown.
Sure.
But well, I guess is the alternative to a lot of gray. It's like we went back in time to the Xbox versus PlayStation. Remember, PlayStation 3 was just brown with Motorstorm and Killzone, and Xbox 360 was fucking grey with Gears of War and Halo 3. Anyway, yeah, a lot of brown, but yeah, otherwise, yeah, like they haven't done anything particularly out there. It's still Warzone. It's just a slightly different map. The Cold War loot on the ground is generally okay. Find a lot more of that fucking idiotic shotgun. The Spaz 12, whatever it's called in game, that I think shouldn't exist. It's just awful. Like if someone picks it up, you're done. If like on the drop, if someone picks one of those up, you are over. You are finished. Goodbye. Wait for your resurgence drop because you've just been deleted. But otherwise, yeah, most they just actually work pretty well for drops on the ground. Makes me continue to lament the existence of loadouts in the game, I guess.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I haven't played enough of it. I've only played like 2 rounds or something. I just kind of jumped in to check it out. I think that some of the changes in there are really good, like the limiting the on floor weapons to the current game. I think that's a smart decision because it would just get too much to like Modern Warfare weapons, and then like Black Ops weapons, and then like trying to like there's a new game coming out in 5 months, and then what they're going to throw those ones in there. Well, like you need to have some sort of baseline consistency. So I think just having the current game's weapons on the floor is fine, and then you can have the your loadouts and all that sort of stuff in the crates. That's cool. Happy with that. I think what's a little bit maybe disappointing is that it is the same map again with some changes, and I don't think the change is too significant. They feel very minor. There's definitely big buildings in there that are brand new and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. And they've gone in and updated a bunch of the lighting now. So you can't like hide in corners and that sort of thing in dark places, which I
Yep.
like. But for the most part, it's I think that the thing we have to wait and see is like, what does this game look like in 5 months? Because we know Raven's taken over development now, and it's not
Yep.
this like hot potato thing of, all right, Sledgehammer's working on it now, and now the next game is out, and so the next studio that worked on that game is now working on Warzone and doing their thing. Now it just seems like they're going, all right, we got Raven, the creator of maps in Call of Duty, is now doing Warzone. And I think that is a smart move. Like, have a dedicated Warzone team, have them focus all their attention on updating that game, because obviously it's hugely successful. It's one of the maybe the second biggest battle royale game that's going on right now. I don't know in terms of Apex numbers, but like Call of Duty's got to be huge, right? So
based on my experience last week with Apex, I've got to assume Warzone's still number 2.
Yeah. And so I think having a dedicated team work on that now, and then have regular updates and being able to maybe change the meta a bit quicker than what was going on before. And I think the problem with it, like the meta issue is always going to be there purely because of the fact of how the game works with loadout systems. And just like having to try and balance all that stuff, it's just got to be a nightmare. And so, it'd be. I think that having them do regular updates on a dedicated team where they don't have to worry about, what's going on in the base mainline game for that year is gonna work out better. And I think that the time will come in November when the next Call of Duty comes out, and we see what they do with Warzone then, whether or not it's we're bringing all those weapons across, or if they slowly introduce some of that stuff. Like, what does that game look like in 5 months? I think that'll sort of tell us the direction of what Warzone will be going forward. Because it's been very slow, I feel like, the last 2 years in terms of updates, like the things that are going on that game. They've obviously done a lot of updates, but I don't think they're significant updates. We're not seeing the Apex Legends style updates, that sort of thing. When was the last time?
Got like they've got 3 maps. They've completely changed the first map like twice.
They have new heroes that come out with abilities and that sort of thing. Like the last time they tried that in Warzone, it was like, we've added in like fire team sale, and new contracts, and that's kind of the main sort of changes they've made. Now there's Juggernaut in there, and if you want to keep up with your Fortnites, especially, like Fortnite is the one that has just gone insane with their updates and changing the way that game works and what's going on. Apex is on a very similar route, which we can talk about later, but it's a good change, I feel like.
I mean, it's good, but I think they need to do a lot more. They need to do a lot more, and they need to do it quick, because what I think is going to happen is Battlefield 6 or Battlefield Mononym, whatever the fuck it's called. The rumors I'm hearing and the noise, the chatter I'm seeing about it, it's going to have a battle royale. It's going to be free to play, and if Call of Duty doesn't do something, it's going to fucking take over.
I think that's necessarily
because it's better,
but
just because it'll be new. It'll be new, but it'll play more like Call of Duty. The reason Warzone continues to be so hot is because people like that style of game.
Yeah, and there's nothing there. There's nothing competing with it.
Exactly. Either they're like Fortnite, in which case, like Fortnite gets, like Apex gets its lunch eaten by Fortnite, right? Because they're kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, Apex is the game you play if you can't stand fucking building in Fortnite. Whereas Warzone, there's nothing really like it. You can't play Apex if you want something like Warzone. It just doesn't fucking feel the same. It's completely different pace. Yeah. So
especially if like this next Battlefield comes out and the rumors about putting destructibility back in, things like that. But I still think that's 10 months away. I don't think that's coming out at launch from what things are sort of circling. Anyway, that's Call of Duty Warzone. Have to jump in at some stage and play some more of that with the team. What else we got next up? Cool. Next up, we've got Second Extinction, which is a brand new game available on the Game Pass. I believe it is also out on Steam. The trick with this game is it's still in early access, even though it is available on Game Pass. Basically, this is a cooperative shooter, sort of like a Left 4 Dead style game, where you are fighting against dinosaurs on a strange planet. And I've not played a whole lot of it. I've basically just played by myself in the campaign and run around and do that sort of thing. It seems like there's a bunch of different campaign missions you can choose. You can drop into certain areas of the map as like a base, and then you go out and explore. And as you're exploring, you're killing dinosaurs and collecting resources from them. You're doing like little side missions. You're uncovering new bases that you can then claim and get more resources, and then that allows you to respawn if you die. But for the most part, there are objectives spread out throughout the map that you need to go and complete, and those objectives have a series of different tasks that once you finish one, the next one kicks off, and you keep on going and going and going. And then once that's done, you finish your mission, you go back to your extraction point, and you've got to try and get out of there while the dinosaurs are chasing you and that sort of thing. There are different characters that you can play as. Each have their own weapons and abilities. There are like drop pods that you can call in when you're running low on ammo. You can give calling like health kits and that sort of stuff. And there's also like a drop for a mission sort of objective. Like there are these little types of missions that you can go around and do, and some of them will require you to call in a drop pod, and that drop pod will contain like the thing required to complete the objective. For instance, one of the things that I had to go and do was call in this drop pod, and it dropped a container off for me, and I needed to fill the container with dinosaur eggs and then extract them. And then when I was doing that, dinosaurs obviously got pissed off because I was stealing the eggs. I had to fight a bunch of dinosaurs.
Cool.
That's the gist of the game. But it seems like it's meant to be a cooperative game. I got my ass handed to me playing as a solo player. There is just from like the 30 minutes that I played, it's an early access game. I can see that in there. There's some stuff that I would change just in that sort of short span. I think there's some issues with the sort of gunplay. Reloading is a little bit clunky. It sort of feels like it takes a little bit too long to reload your weapon when you run out of ammo. It feels like to me like the guy is holding down the trigger button, gets to the end of the clip, and he's like, why is my gun not shooting? Oh, I need to reload. Right. And then it's like, there's not like this really, like I'm out of ammo, reload really quickly. It's like a 2-second delay on that. Could have been because maybe I was playing on a server or something like that. I don't know, but just felt a bit clunky to me.
Yeah.
Like it just feels a little bit too empty at this stage. There's areas you can go out and explore and that sort of thing. It may be a bit too shallow at this stage. So again, I've only played 30 minutes, but it just didn't seem like there was a lot going on. So,
well, should we try it in co-op and see if that helps?
I think we should try it in co-op. Play some co-op. Shoot some dinosaurs. Shooting seems fine. It's nothing spectacular. There's ADSs, but for the most part, I'm just shooting. Like, there doesn't seem to be a reason to ADS. The gun that I was using. Maybe when you choose a sniper class, that may be a reason to do that. But Otherwise, you kind of just guns are blazing. But anyway, that's probably all I've got really to say about that. There's not really a whole lot more. It seems fine. It's again early access. I think there's work to be done, but it seems fun. Like, I don't know how crazy it gets in terms of the things it throws at you. Like there's different types of dinosaurs. Like for a dinosaur that spits acid. There's a dinosaur that teleports around. There's one that was like calling in help, like backup. That seemed like it was a little bit too quick. It kind of gave you a notification that, hey, on the screen, there's a dinosaur, you need to take care of it really quickly. But sometimes that dinosaur was like spawned at the back while there's fucking 15 other dinosaurs in front of me. I'm like, well, there's really nothing I can do about that. It's kind of just, it's there. I guess I'm dealing with whatever backup that thing brings as well. And so there's just little bits and pieces in there that I saw as I was playing that I would change. And, you know, they probably know this already, but it seems fine. It's just very early. People need to understand that it is early. It's not like Back for Blood. That felt like a lot more fleshed out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah. But I like the idea of this big open map where you can go and like it's a big map. It's all one map with different drop locations and different missions that are going on. It's felt a bit more maybe in line with what was that dwarf game, Deep Rock Galactic, with like missions and that sort of thing, as opposed to just here's a linear get from point A to point B, fight your way through hordes of whatever it is you're shooting, and good luck. This is much more open and you can explore and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think we should check it out. And again, that's second Extinction. It's out on, I think, pretty much everything in early access. If you want to check it out on Game Pass, it's free at this stage. Well, it's not free. You'd have a subscription, but you know what I mean.
Part of Game Pass.
Yeah, it's part of Game Pass. All right, we've got 2 more games here. Hell Let Loose.
Still loving Hell Let Loose. Still playing it a lot. It's hard to turn down. The only real problem is having to play the fucking server game.
The waiting game.
Yeah, like waiting to get in queue, or once you're in queue, waiting to get in. Like it's just, that's starting to get a bit painful. But what I've noticed is over the course of our playing, it used to be that there were 2 servers that were always full. Now there's usually 2.5 to 2 3/4. So we haven't had to play the server game all that much, which is awesome. You know, it seems like it's picking up. That's always the problem with these sorts of games, is the utter transparency, I think, can sometimes, like of a server browser, can sometimes work against them, and make it a little bit daunting, or make it feel like, oh, I'll never get into a game, so what's the point? I'll just go play something else. Which isn't ideal, but yeah, having some fucking killer games in Hell Let Loose. So I was talking about it with Nate the other day at the pub. Just this, like how the highs are so high in that game and the lows are so low. It's just ludicrous. They got to do something about fucking swimming in that game. It is just idiotic. Anytime you go to a map that has a river, it is just redonkulous how bad that experience is. You should not walk along the bottom of it. Like, if that is how you want to treat rivers, first of all, there should be no portions of a river with a bank so steep you can't climb them on the other side, in which case you are absolutely flat out going to die at all times. And secondly, just make it so people float across the fucking top. How does this system work? Just make it so there's no river so deep that you can't fucking get through it. Why? like, I don't know. Maybe Australia's like spoiled, right? Because I don't know many people who can't swim. But apparently it's quite common to not be able to swim.
Maybe back
Like,
then
it's
as
actually,
well.
and yeah, especially back then it was quite common. But like, fucking hell, just fucking, it's not even that long. It's not that big a swim. Just you can fucking dog paddle your way across, right? Anyone can dog paddle, right? Like, I just don't understand. Fuck me, it drives me fucking bananas.
Right.
The other thing that drives me fucking bananas is that people still don't understand getting on the fucking circle. It's seriously aggravating to no end. The amount of people who will get in, I think I talked about this last week. They get in the circle and then they run into combat when all they need to do is be alive on the circle. We can win if they're alive on the circle. If there's only one blip of bad guys, we will win if we're on the fucking circle. But no. Constantly running around fucking corners, dying and then tapping, which also, if they're not tapped and they're in the circle, they count as still available in the circle. So it's
Yeah.
actually helping. Like, they may as well, if they are going to fucking run around a corner and die, just don't tap. At least then you're still contributing to the fucking circle cap. But no, people insist on fucking going in. Driving me nuts. Had some killer holds though. Killer, like, yeah, just playing on what's it called? Hurtgen Forest. Yeah, just like two squads ratting around against one another. It was fucking real cool. Like, just the sort of shit you get up to when it's that sort of mini fight, that mini battle that happens where it's like one squad versus one squad, and you're just trying to like lock down them. They're trying to lock down you, and there's that counterplay of like you find their outpost, but you can tell they must have got like their squad leader didn't die, so they've got another one down somewhere, and you've got to find that, and they're trying to find your outpost and try to pop that, and your squad leader gets a new one down. All that kind of stuff is fucking rad. And on Foy, me, Heath, and Drew held an entire flank against a fucking army at one point, and it was spectacular. They were making this huge flank around the side, and we were out there because of general instincts. You know, if it was me, that's the direction that I would go in fire. They were, and they'd done it. They'd sort of done something similar before on the other side, and so yeah, we looped all the way out. We had an OP down. We got a Gary up for the rest of our team who never fucking spawned there except for the recon squad, and they sort of left. And so I think Heath was on the machine gun. Drew had just maybe the bar or something. I'm not sure. He had a lot of bullets, and he was putting a lot of bullets down range. And I was squad lead, so I had fucking Tommy gun. We just fucking held that one point for so fucking long, and against so many people. It was ludicrous. It was fucking awesome. That's the shit I like, you know. Yeah, that's what hell like. It's Battlefield vibes, man. It just works. It's just pure Battlefield shit. And yeah, when everyone's working together, firing all cylinders, it's just fucking cool.
Yeah, I wonder why they're just struggling to retain players. It just seems.
I don't think they are. That's what I was saying, right?
Well, they had that big sale on last month, right? And they had that big. They basically doubled like their player base, and then it dropped again to like what it was before that.
I mean, I guess it's not a game for everyone. They're up 6% in the last 30 days.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that they had that sale, right? they like
Right.
doubled their player count, like that were playing, their active players, and then it just dropped back to what it was before the sale again. Like those people just didn't stick around.
Seems like it peaks. Every yeah, it's trending. I don't know. Yeah, I think like no, there wasn't a sale. It was a free weekend.
Oh, was it free weekend?
Yeah,
All
so
right.
that wasn't it. Yeah, I think it's still above where it was based on
Yeah.
Steam charts.
Yeah, just slightly.
And I think based on the server browser situation, I think it's doing pretty well.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, it's
All right.
still good, still great.
Cool. Good stuff. Let's keep on going then. What else we got here? Last game.
Last game is Elite Dangerous. Yeah, I've been playing a fuck ton of Elite Dangerous. I'm way back in. I spoke about it a little bit last week, but yeah, no, all the way back in this week. It's an interesting game, man. It's such an interesting game because I don't know how much I talked about it last week. I can't really remember, but like I had my ASP Explorer, and I sort of just went back to doing what I was doing, and the trick of it was that I was making so much fucking more money now than I used to. I made enough money to buy the ship I was in like an hour and a half.
Hmm.
And that took me dozens of hours to get into the ASP Explorer. That was like effort, man. I scrimped and saved like enough money to buy the ASP Explorer and equip it with all the good shit that my ASP Explorer had. I'd done so much fucking work to get there.
Well, like, what are you doing?
And
You
I
like
did.
trading goods or something? What is it?
I do bounty hunting,
Oh,
which involves going to high res sites and killing pirates, basically privateer shit. But they've dramatically increased the bounties, how much you get for a bounty, and they've made it so that there are like missions to kill like certain pirates or certain numbers of pirates. And the fucking gains you get are ridiculous. So it got to the point where on Sunday I had enough to buy one of the ships that back in the day I'd looked at, and I'm like, I'm never going to make it to that. Like the amount of time it took me to get to here,
yeah.
there's just no way I get to there.
It's because that ship's garbage now. This is like a ship that's
I'll never
30 times
buy a.
better.
Well, I haven't really done that. That's the thing. That's the crazy thing, right? What they've done is they've kept the ships the same, but they've created these modules that are way better. These like internal components of these ships that are way better, that require significant effort to get to. But fucking doesn't matter to me, man. So I could buy a Python, right? Or a Fer-de-Lance or a Mamba, which the Mamba was a new ship that they're adding with Horizons, but I sort of tapped out just before Horizons. And I'm like, fuck me, man. Like, I can actually buy this shit. I could buy it and actually equip it with some decent gear. But the rate at which I'm making money, maybe I should just power through. Maybe I could buy the impossible ship. The rate at which I'm doing this, maybe I could just stay in the ASP and buy the fucking Mac Daddy ship and do that instead. And that's exactly what I fucking did. I refined my process so I was making as much money as possible, as quickly as possible, bounty hunting. And I just sort of did that. And it's not like it's a pretty zen game. Like you've got options. Like sometimes I'll sit there playing. I'm playing on keyboard and mouse plus controller. I got rid of voice attack because I didn't want to train my fucking voice software as much as I needed to stop it from recognizing clickety clacks as fucking like input. It was recognizing like me typing on the fucking or pressing buttons as gear.
Right.
And so it would raise or lower my fucking landing gear.
Yeah.
Which is not helpful in the middle of fucking high-speed pursuits. Or when you're trying to land. Anyway, so I refined my fucking process and I got it down to a fucking fine art, right? I'd bounced to in the this system called SameQuit or SamaQuit or whatever the fuck it's like, however it's pronounced. But I'm in this system called SamaQuit doing fucking hunting pirates, and I got rid of any requirement for ammunition. So I was just using energy weapons, and I just fly around, find stuff, tag it up, kill warrant scanner, get a bunch of money out of that. You get fuck tons of money out of that, and then you'd fly back to Brawn Enterprise, which is the main space station in SamaQuit. You turn in your bounties there, because if you turn them in another system, you get a 25% hit on the money. And so the stop there, the Brawn Enterprise is real close to the high res zone that I was bounty hunting at. So the stop there barely takes any time at all. So it's absolutely worth 25% of your fucking earnings to make that stop. You leave Brawn Enterprise, jump. So I think it's LTT 8776 or something like that. I don't know why it doesn't have a name. I don't really understand. There's so much about this game I still don't fucking understand. But I jumped to LTT 8776 and I would go to Velasquez dock, and there was another dock in that system that I would go to. Can't remember its name. And I turn in my missions, and that would be worth like all of that. I'd be ready then to fly back to the high res zone. I'd pick up new missions. I'd be ready then to go back to the high res zone, and all of that would take me, I don't know, an hour and a half, and I would earn about 25 million credits. The ship I was in was worth about 12 million credits. So I was making double my fucking net worth in an hour and a half. The ship I wanted was 150 million credits. So it only took me, like, I could either hardcore concentrate on this shit, or I could watch YouTube or the basketball on another fucking screen. And so that's basically what I was doing. I was watching basketball and glancing over to make sure I was shooting the right target. And yeah, I just spent the weekend fucking doing that. Earned enough to buy the Mac Daddy ship, the Anaconda. So now I've got a fucking Anaconda. Back when I first played Elite Dangerous, literally unachievable. Like, I think the only way people got one was there was like they found some marketing glitch where like one station would buy stuff, would sell you stuff for way too cheap, and another station was buying it for a hilariously inflated price, and they were basically next to each other. So people wound up having like 4 billion credits the week the fucking game came out. And because of the way the economy works, they couldn't take that money away from them. And so those people had Anacondas and nobody fucking else did. The only other people who had it were those like the no-lifers who'd spend 8 hours a day space trucking. But I just didn't have any fucking patience for space trucking. I just want a bounty hunt. So I bought a fucking Anaconda. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, after a weekend of play, I had the Anaconda. And I had, eventually, over time, I had enough money to equip it with the basics, but over time I had enough money. I've basically equipped it with all the best shit now. And the best thing about the Anaconda is it's got better weapons and it's got way more like armor and shields, way better shields. So I can actually just like fly into these high res zones. And the way I used to do it was sort of very carefully picking my fights. But now I just fucking fly up. I find a pirate and I just fucking delete them. I just like, meh, gone. Okay, next one. And so now instead of making like 25 million in 90 minutes, I've got that down to like fucking an hour. Or like 40 minutes. Like I'm making like 40 million an hour in this fucking Anaconda. It's fucking awesome. My Anaconda.
It ain't got none.
My Anaconda has like fighter bays.
Yeah.
So I can deploy other fucking spaceships from this thing.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Right? Like, it's fucking amazing, man. The problem with the Anaconda is that it's too big to land at Velasquez Dock or whatever the fucking other one is. It's too large. So I had to buy another ship to, like, turn in the missions. But the ship that I bought to do this cost less than a 1% hull damage repair bill on my Anaconda. Like, it's honestly like a fucking incremental game. It's like an idle game. Like, I'm now playing on a different scale. I make so much more money. Everything costs more money. And the challenges that face me are wildly different. I wish it's so dumb to me that I can't, like, I can deploy a spaceship from my spaceship, but I can't land the deployed ship at one of these docks that only have small landing pads. I think that's so fucking dumb. That's idiotic to me. They should change that. But it's been years and they haven't. So I assume it's working as intended. It's just fucking dumb. Or make it so I can put, like, instead of having fighters, make it so I have like the Sidewinder or the Eagle in my spaceship as opposed, like, I don't care how much space it takes. Like, I would do it. It'd be fucking phenomenal. It just adds some tedium. And that's my problem with the game, is that now that I've reached the top, it's like an idle game. I've reached the wall. I don't know. Well, that's one of my problems. My first problem is that I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do. Right? I've never known what I'm supposed to do. I got back into the game and I started doing these high res missions, which is what I always did. But I don't know what else I'm supposed to do beyond that. And because it was so much more profitable than it ever was before, I sort of got blinders on and just did that. Right? So I've got no fucking concepts of what else. Like, I know there's other stuff. I've been down to planet surfaces and I've dumped my little lander down and done some missions where I have to scoop up fucking stuff off the ground. It's not worth the fucking time. I know there's some sort of like road to riches like tutorial system, but I think because I was playing from a point where I was deep enough into the game, like, the irony I think is when I started playing again, if I just deleted everything and started fresh, I would have made it to my ASP Explorer and more inside of fucking an hour, right? And it would also be like breadcrumbing me on how to fucking play this game, because there's all this shit that I have no idea how to engage with. Like, there's engineered weapons and there's alien species and there's fucking, like, going down to the surface of planets and mapping stars and all this shit that I don't engage with at all. And I would have probably had some fucking idea on how any of that works, but I don't, because I never engaged with it. And I don't know how to fucking go and do that. Like, can I go and do this Road to Riches shit? Because it didn't exist when I first played.
Right.
None of these things existed. I don't know how to start any of it. Do I have to go to a certain star system? Like, it does a pretty bad job of, like, apparently it does a good job of tutorializing you, but it doesn't fucking tell you how to get to the tutorial. So
isn't it in like that menu system? I feel
no, different tutorial, right? Like that's the how to fucking fly. I mean, like the how to play though tutorial is apparently in universe and in game. And apparently it's quite good at doing what it needs to do to teach you how to earn money. But I can't work out how to fucking begin. So I'm at a fucking loss, man. And like I know I get the idea that I'm supposed to earn rep and stuff. But I hate fucking rep grinds in games. That's why I burn out on most MMOs. As soon as I reach a point where the only thing for me is to rep grind, I do it for a little bit and then I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, if the only way that you can stop me from consuming your content too quickly is to needlessly gate me, I've got fucking no time for this shit. And that's what this feels like. However, yeah, gonna be able to fucking go on foot. I went and did it, man. Did I tell you? Was I talking about this last week? Playing the fucking alpha for Odyssey, and I was running around. I didn't know anything about loadouts. You've got to like load out your guy with stuff. Didn't know anything about loadouts, so I'm running around with the base pistol that everyone has and no armor, and just blitzing. I was absolutely fucking wrecking.
Because they're all using joysticks.
Yeah, that's like all the people playing are like, oh, the AI is too hard. I'm like, fucking boo, 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 boo. It's because these motherfuckers are all space truckers. They have no idea what's in store for them. This is like when Fry learns about video games on the internet in Futurama. He's like, oh, you mighty spaceman will have to tell me about these video games. And then he's a fucking guide of them because he loves video games. That's me. It's absolutely what's happening here. I went and bought the stuff. I bought armor and a real gun, and it's fucking ridiculous, man. So yeah, no idea what I'm doing in that stuff, but I'm very excited and like engage with it. At the same time, I have no idea why I will be engaging with it. That's my problem with Elite. I don't know why I'm doing anything, or what I'm doing, or the parts that I do know why and what I'm doing, I don't want to do because it's fucking rep grind horse shit. And I'm somewhat worried that the parts I don't understand are also rep grind horse shit. And if that's the case, I'm going to be very sad. But still, there is something extremely like pleasant about flying through space, flying and like warping into a system, seeing a giant fucking sun. The Interstellar soundtrack's playing in the background, and you just fucking go over and blast some pirates. And I've got the giant ship. Did I mention that 99%, so 1% hull costs me like fucking 500,000 fucking credits. To repair. I earn that every time I try to dock because this thing, it's the fucking, what was that ship that got stuck in the canal? That's me. At every single fucking attempt to dock, I will like cram it into the side and then fucking block. And you get these warnings from the Spaceport Authority. They're like, do not block the entrance. And I'm like, I'm not doing it on purpose, cunts. I can't fucking, this thing is like 40 times larger than my old spaceship. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with it. I'm trying to get it just through a fucking mailbox slot.
Maybe you're docking it in the wrong entrance. And they're like, no, that's for the small ships. You're like, I'm coming in.
I'm fucking doing this. But yeah, so I earn about 1% hull damage every single time I try to fucking land the fucking thing. It is way too big, but it is fucking awesome. And it's got 2 spare seats. So if I could ever convince someone to come fucking play, you could fly in the fucking fighters out of my fucking spaceship. We could. That's fucking cool, man. Like that's the thing. That's why I keep going back. It's because every time I'm like, oh, fucking red grind, and then I'm like, oh, I can literally just transfer and fly the fighter, and ship AI will keep my fucking giant anaconda doing things. I can, like, that's fucking rad. I can land on a planet and jump in a fucking moon buggy and go fucking belting around and shit. That's fucking rad. And when you do it, it's all like animated. Like you go into the fucking buggy and you're sitting there and you watch it get placed on the ground and it folds out its fucking wheels, and then you go fucking zipping around. It's so fucking cool. And I just don't know why I'm doing anything or what I'm doing, which is a pain. It pains me. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I've installed it.
You have?
Yeah, I've downloaded it. I need
Good.
to.
Excellent.
All right. Maybe next week.
Get fucked. You're fucking playing half an hour of a fucking dinosaur shooting game, but you can't come to space?
It'll take me 3 hours to set up my fucking.
You made me play fucking Star Trek, whatever the fuck. Just get a fucking Xbox controller. Get your fucking PlayStation controller. No. What?
I'm using my whole get up. It's coming in.
You're gonna spend 4 hours setting up a fucking hot ass stick, and then you're gonna fucking be like, "Yeah, well, that was cool for fucking 4 minutes." Joab, thanks for wasting my fucking time. I begged you. I begged you to just plug a fucking controller in. I fucking begged you, and you refused.
Hey, we could just be sea pirates instead. Sea pirates is a lot easier.
I don't have a fucking fuck that shit. Like, yes, sea pirates is amazing, but this is Space Pirates.
Didn't they just release a new
season?
Pirates
in space. Isn't that so much cooler?
Is it?
Isn't it? Come on.
Yeah. We'll do it. Season 2 of Sea of Thieves launched less than 2 weeks ago.
But the season stuff is just...
Is it? Didn't I add new stuff?
Not really. Isn't it just cosmetics and shit?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it. All right. Yeah, we'll jump into that. I got to set my things up when I get some free time. All right. Should we do some news? And then we'll get out of here. The PlayStation State of Play is happening tomorrow. This is apparently going to feature an extended look at Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which is due out in just over, it's like 6 weeks or something at this stage. It's coming out in June.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I can't believe it's 6 weeks till June. That's crazy.
Yeah. So Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I don't know if I need to see any more of it. I'm pretty sold on it. I think I'm more interested to see what else they have at this show. But I feel like the rest of it's going to be smaller indie things, maybe. Any thoughts?
Like, I am extremely excited to see more Ratchet and Clank. I'm sold on it, like you are, but I can't wait for this shit, man. Like, it looks fucking rad. Yeah, it just, I don't know. It looks so old school and new school at the same time. It's so fucking weird, man, how they've done it. Yeah, I'm very pumped. I don't know what the fuck else they're going to show at this thing, but I'm keen to see more of a Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah,
it looks fucking fun shit, man.
I assume they show some sort of Returnal, because that is out like tomorrow, isn't it? Day after.
Yeah,
it's out here Friday, so day after. All right, let's we'll talk about that next week once we get some more details. Maybe there'll be some surprises or something will pop out. We'll see.
Maybe. Maybe.
Sony also announced that PlayStation have sold 7.8 million units of the PlayStation 5 since the launch. During the same window, in the PlayStation 4 launch, they did just shy of that, so 7.6 million. Pretty impressive numbers. I guess it's the reason why that it is not as blown out is because of the chip shortages that's affecting like everything at this
Yeah.
point. Still, I mean, they basically you think about how much the shortages are affecting the sales, and yet they've surpassed what the PlayStation 4 did. Just shows you sort of like how much in demand these things are. So it's quite impressive at this stage. It seems like that this is going to hold up for quite a while still. These really slow production rollouts, but it doesn't seem as bad as what things were 8 years ago. So I don't know. Does this kind of when you see that number, like does that like is that sort of like the number you had in mind, or did you think it was a lot lower than that, considering how hard it's sort of been for people to get this stuff?
I absolutely thought it was a lot lower. So I was quite surprised that they managed to put these sorts of numbers out there because, the chips haven't been there, so they did quite well. I think PS4, like it was coming off a downswing with the PS3. So maybe that impacted a little bit, but it still did quite well. This is, I mean, it's one of those situations where that's enough to guarantee publishers making sure their games are going on PlayStation 5, which is fantastic. I mean, especially because you can almost not directly, but quite easily port between Xbox and PS5, so that the numbers combine there. Not directly, like I said, but you can use those numbers to justify going to next gen pretty easily, which I know I remember certain publishers having problems with the last generation. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll. I think Xbox also released some numbers today, but I didn't really see that. Did you see them yet?
No, I haven't seen them. I couldn't see them anywhere. I didn't realize they released them today.
I don't know if they were numbers or more or less just like percentages. I have a feeling Xbox is still trailing on that part.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. It looks like just percentages. Anyway, let's move on to the next story, which is about Apex Legends, and they have released a brand new permanent mode called Arenas, and this is a 3 versus 3 arena mode, much sort of in the same vein as like a Valorant or Counter-Strike, where there are separate rounds. You're versing other players in another team. And there is a buy phase where you're spending money or resources to get new gear and equipment to try and get you through that round. It plays sort of similarly to Apex in terms of like you can knock down a player. You can if someone on your team is knocked down, you can try and revive them. As far as I'm aware, there's no way to get someone back into a round once they're killed. But once you win a round, you then go on to the next one, and it's I believe it's the team that is the first to being 2 points in front of the other team.
Right.
As far as I'm aware. It could be also a best of 7. I don't know. I don't read these things. I just guess most of the time. There are ultimate abilities and that sort of thing in there, but I guess, is this surprising to you that they've sort of shifted away from, well, not shifted away, but they've added in something that is more in line with like a Valorant competitor or a Counter-Strike competitor, while still having the Battle Royale component in there? Do you think it's going to like cut away at any of those games at all?
No.
Are they just turning away from themselves?
Yes. Like I do not understand this movie at all. I know people have been clamoring for it for a long time. But I think they are a very vocal minority. I cannot see this fucking mode getting off the ground. It's just divorced from how battle royale combat works. Like the essence of battle royale is the ever changing, like the circle changes everything every fucking round, but that's not happening here. Also, if you want to fucking play some fucking Titanfall universe deathmatch, why don't you just fucking play Titanfall?
Yeah.
Fuck me. I just don't understand. Isn't Titanfall 2 doing fucking gangbusters?
It
This
jumped
week
back up
anyway?
because of
Yeah.
the sale that they had recently. It's high up in the Steam listing. But yeah, this is
It's doing nearly Hell Let Loose numbers.
right. Yeah.
Nearly.
I mean, this reminds me of like when PUBG introduced like the deathmatch mode or team deathmatch, and it's like, okay, like why? It's yeah, it's a strange addition. I don't know. Maybe it'll pay off for them. I have a feeling it won't. I think that it's just maybe going to be a side thing where we get to the point where not as many people are playing it, and eventually the player base just won't be there, so it'll fade out and die.
Yep. Do you think it's? There's a good question. Do you think it is an attempt to get people back into Apex the same way Deathmatch was an attempt to get people back into PUBG?
I don't think, as far as I'm aware, Apex is doing very well.
As far as you're aware,
like from the things that I've seen, the numbers that I've seen, what does Steam charts say for Apex? It like
it's
had,
third.
yeah,
Third. Yeah. So
and
it's
that's
doing better
just
than
Steam.
PUBG.
Like this is not including Origin or like console or anything like that. It's yeah, at this moment it's doing nearly like twice the numbers of PUBG. Not
But
really.
is PUBG a fucking measuring point? If I can't get a fucking game of duos going at all at peak time in its OCE, is it doing well?
I don't know.
I
Maybe
don't think
something was
so.
broken. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe
Seems
someone
weird.
was broken for multiple days in a row.
Yeah.
Isn't that how PUBG died in OCE?
They killed it.
So yeah, I don't know, man. Just doesn't seem like it's doing well to me.
Yeah. Seems like it's just a weird decision. Anyway, that's news. Not a lot going on, but we try and do what we can. Are there any questions for this week that we can get through that you can see?
Yeah, there is. I think I saw a question. Questions.
Nice.
Audiocron writes, "Hello, fellow gamers. Trials of Fire is stealing my attention away from everything right now. Have you discovered it? Would love to hear your thoughts. STS led me down a dangerous path." STS. Trials of Fire. Have you played Trials of Fire?
No, I'm just looking at it now. I have heard about it. This is a card deck building game.
Oh, STS is Slayer's Fire?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Nice.
It is made. I'm pretty sure this is an indie developer made of some ex Warner Brothers guys that worked on the Arkham games. I think it was. Do you remember Dax that used to do like all the PR and marketing for Arkham? I think he's a part of that team now.
Cool.
And someone else. I just checking their site now, and I can't. I don't know. Can't find it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Dax and Adam Doherty. Adam Doherty's game director. I'm pretty sure he was also Warner Brothers. Yeah, he was. He worked on Batman Arkham series as well. So
Cool.
anyway,
All right.
very different game to that. It's a card-based game, but I've heard good things about it. So it's something that is on my list that I need to check out.
I just purchased it.
Oh, nice.
I mean, maybe this can get me away from playing Slay the Spire.
Right.
Do they have a mobile version so I can play this on the toilet? Excellent. Awesome. My question is, what do you do when a single game starts stealing all your gaming time? Do you avoid it or just surrender to your new deity? Well, I played, I don't know, let's see what Steam has to say about this. I played 44 hours of Elite Dangerous this last week. So I'm guessing that I just like, it doesn't even need to be a major god for me to surrender to it. It's like any minor deity slash like demigod slash just fucking priest is enough to capture all of my attention the entire fucking week to a degree that is sometimes unhealthy. I'm fucking awful at this shit. At best, I can I'm disciplined enough to make sure I get my work done before I piss away all my time. But otherwise, yeah, no, I absolutely bow down. What about you, Luke? I'm pretty sure you're the same.
Yeah, I've been busy the last, like I said before, couple of weeks, and I'm still busy this week working on some things, so I haven't had a chance to really like I fired up Portal Reloaded and this other game like yesterday because that is all I didn't have anything else. But I still like play Dead by Daylight a lot each week. I don't talk about it on here unless I've got something that I feel like I need to talk about, like there's a major update or something has changed. But I still
your new character.
What's that?
They still haven't fixed your new character.
Well, they buffed it like last week, I think it was, right?
Yeah, you were talking about last week, but they still haven't fixed him. You're still saying he's still, yeah.
He's better. He's definitely better, but he's still weak.
Yeah.
So I play that a lot because it's easy. Like I'm on a different time zone to you guys, so it's like 3 o'clock here. It's like 7 o'clock for you guys. So it's not like I can. And you guys over there usually jump on later, like 11 p.m. for me. So there's stuff in here that I'll just play by myself with that I'm happy to do. And that's my main one at the moment. Like I'm pretty happy just playing Dead by Daylight by myself. And
yeah, the deity, you're surrendering to the entity.
It is. That is right. I got close to firing up Dota when I was watching like the Dota TV show, and then also watching the last Dota major that was happening. I got really close to getting back into that, and thankfully I held out. I feel like I see like JB playing it quite a lot as well. He plays Dota, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah, I feel like I see him playing it. He should definitely not get me in it. But I mean, there's stuff in there that every once in a while I'll jump in and spend a bunch of time. Like I'm still super keen to fire up Satisfactory when I get some time and jump back in and see how that is going. There's just too much I got going on at the moment. I just don't have time to play anything. Like I want to play Elite Dangerous. I haven't had a chance to play Hell Let Loose at all. I still want to check out lots of Warzone. Freaking Returnal is out in like 2 days. I want to play a bunch of that. It's it's been a slow year, but it's just all of a sudden gone stupid. So yeah.
I think maybe we're not necessarily the best use cases for surrendering, because we are, I guess, high priests in the religion, right? So
Yeah, I try and jump around as much as I can to different games, but I do have my one game that I play right now
Maybe
is Dead by Daylight.
studying theology
Yeah.
if I continue with the yeah. Yeah, good question. I liked it. Thanks, Audiocron. I'm definitely gonna try play some Trials of Fire. I love the idea of a new fucking deck builder. I fucking love them.
Yep.
That
Awesome.
would be the podcast.
That is it. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify. Everywhere you get your podcast from, we're on there. Please rate and download, rate and review the show. You've already downloaded it. Download it a second time. If you rate and review the show, it helps other people find us. Please leave a nice message if you can. We appreciate it. If you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us on facebook.com/GA podcast, twitter.com/GA podcast. You can go to our YouTube page and watch the podcast in a video form, the gapodcast.com/YouTube. Head over there, check that out. You can also go to our Discord page, the gapodcast.com/Discord. Jump in there. All sorts of things going on in the movies tab was hot this week. Everyone going on about all sorts of stuff that is happening. General chat's always popping off, and then late at night after work, jump in, play some games, see what people are doing. There's usually all sorts of things going on in there. Hell Let Loose is rocking off. I saw some Warzone in there the other day. Battle Royale is happening.
Next time I see Warzone going, I'm going to jump in so I can play with people as opposed to randos, because the rando experience is still awful.
Yeah. You can also go to our website, thegapodcast.com, and check out all those links that we just mentioned. If you want to also find an older podcast, you can do that on the site, read some articles. You can do that as well. There's all sorts of things going on over there. And that is all thanks to our Patreon members who help support the show, keep the podcast going, keep the site running. If you'd like to help support the show, you can go to patreon.com/thega podcast, become a recurring member, get podcast a little bit early, day early, unless there's an embargo, which we had to do last week. Yeah. But we appreciate everyone's support doing that. It helps us pay the bills. So thank you very much. Have you got anything you'd like to pimp out for this week? You've been working on?
It's I pivoted. I did write a big thing about Battlefield moments, but with what I suspect is Battlefield news right around the corner, I figured it might be better to do at a different time. So I've pivoted to talking about Elite Dangerous instead. So that'll be up on the sites around the same time this is, I suppose. So you can read that or check it out on my YouTube at Joey Jojo. And you can also head to the Survivor.com to check out my Elder Scrolls preview of Blackwood. What about you, Luke?
For me, you can find me twitter.com/Luke Lawrie. You can also go to Survivor. I have something going up at some stage within the next, let's say 10 days, maybe before the next podcast. I can't say what it is, but you should keep an eye out. It's something that I've written that I think a lot of people will be excited for. So, check that out. I'll talk about it more next week. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I can't tell you if I can or not.
Are you raising a baby?
Am I what?
Raising a baby.
Am I? No.
No? Don't they say it takes a village?
Does it?
I don't know.
I don't think they say that. Who said that?
I think that's a common saying. Anyway.
All right. That is it. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.